Okay, so I'm actually here now. Good morning to everyone. I hope we are all doing well this morning. We had a heck of a thunderstorm that blew through here this morning. I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but hopefully it's better than what it was here. For like a good, solid 2 hours. I mean, if I didn't know where I was at, where I live, I mean, I would have sworn that it was almost like the dawn, just before a twister. It was it was like extremely windy, and all of a sudden everything just died off. The wind, rain, everything, and then boom, it just came, and then it was gone. Weather was just like that. Good morning, Carla. Wendy Knox Leet. Good morning or good afternoon, obviously from the UK. Welcome to the stream. Kevin, good morning. Michelle, it's sunny in Durham, England. Radka, good morning. Somewhere in the UK, wherever, probably close to where you are, Blue Mermaid. Beautiful home. I think she was kind of like asking what part of the UK you're in. UK, York, for Radka. Surrey, just south of London. That's cool. Gayla, good morning. How are things? Well, I'm great. Weather here was really weird this morning. And I was saying, perfectly fine. I'm sitting out on my back porch, having my morning cup of coffee, reading the paper, and then it started to drizzle a little bit. I had the big umbrella thing over the top of it, so I'm okay. I'm like not really worried about it. My dogs are running around, and then you could feel like an electricity in the air, and I'm like, I should probably go inside. And I got up, picked up my coffee, paper, and everything, and I went back inside the house. And then it just started getting windy and raining, and then it just stopped. And it was like a calm. It was like I'm sitting outside, I'm inside the house looking out the window at the tree, and it's blowing like crazy, and all of a sudden it just stopped. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. And for like 10 minutes, perfectly calm, and then it just came. The lightning, thunder. Yeah. I've lived through quite a few tornadoes in my life, and it was kind of like that, the eye of the storm. And then we lost power. Power was out for about an hour, a little bit over an hour. Then it finally came back, and I was like, I had to take a shower in the dark, which was fun. No lights. Well, it was light coming in through the skylight, but that was it. Mike, good morning. All hail Allah. Good morning, Mike. Catherine, center of the storm. Yeah, it was weird. It was kind of scary. About the only one that was awake at that hour was me. My little man's still sleeping. He'd probably sleep for about another hour. Crazy weather. You're in a drought there. It's sunny. No, not raining at all. Oh, thank you, Kayla. Yeah, I was looking at the weather forecast this morning because later on, me and Tim are going golfing. It's 0% chance of rain. That's what the forecast is. A little bit of 5 mile an hour wind, and later on out of the southwest. And then I'm like, okay. That was the first thing I checked this morning at like 4. And then by 7 o'clock, 3 hours later, I look outside and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? You can't water it. It's so dry. Sunny and hot in the UK for a change. Weather has been very weird here. This has been an odd year for everything, hasn't it? Well, at least it has been here. I mean, COVID's new. Didn't have that before. What amazes me is the electricity is above ground. Logical is that you were bothered by the weather. Yeah. Good morning, Lori. Mike. Good morning, Mike. Spud golf. Thursday. What is spud golfing? Golfed. I'm not familiar with that. What that means. Vicky, good morning. I have 19 in here now. Terrible year, COVID. Now police killing and protests everywhere. Yeah, I don't understand it, Mike. Talked about that a little bit last night on the stream. But I don't understand all of it. Doesn't make sense to me. The rioting, looting, and all that doesn't make sense to me. I understand people are upset, but Mel, good morning, or is it afternoon there? Got your pink hair back? Woohoo! You look good in the pink hair. I like it. Spud is my husband's nickname. Oh, okay, Lori. I was like, what? Spud. I was like, I didn't know what Spud meant. I was like, maybe it's something that references something that I wasn't getting, but now I know. Nickname for your husband, okay. Blizzard storm, snowstorm in Michigan, my home state, Las Vegas, Nevada, rain and flooding in a few minutes. Worst engineered roads for rain. San Pedro, California, LA counties, earthquake, Florida, hurricane, 60-year-old. Love the weather. That's cool. Well, some of it. It's 11 p.m. there. Mike Stevens would just like to have some of his hair back. I'm so old. I'm reliving the 60s again. The mess in America. Moved here from NYC in 2000. Good morning, Crystal. Crystal, a.k.a. Beaver Game Sub. Protesting at your state's capital, and there'll be one in your city tonight. Well, I hope everybody keeps a calm head. In Alabama today, it is beautiful, mild temperatures today. It's supposed to be 83 here today. At least, then again, it was zero chance of rain today. That changed in a quick hurry. You're thankful your apartment is nowhere near the riots? Yeah. kind of a weird thing to be thankful about. I mean, about when you think about it, though. I mean, it's like, well, I'm glad I'm not near that. Normally, it's like, well, you think about, well, I hope you're able to stay safe. I mean, it's all the riots on the news in the UK. Oops. I guess you forgot to turn off his notifications. Me. We had riots in the 60s when you came of age. Lori, how's my sister and her horse? I guess. Well, I haven't seen my sister in about 2 weeks. She's doing good, I guess. I mean, haven't heard anything, bad happening as far as her horses, and all her animals. She's doing good, I guess. I haven't heard from her. Usually when something goes wrong, fortunately, you hear about it then. I'll probably see her. I don't know about tonight. Maybe tomorrow. Because we have everybody comes over on the weekends. And my wife hosts like a game night, and that's usually on Saturdays or Sundays. It flip flops between the two. My sister and her kids usually come over, and we make a big potluck, like meal. So I'll see her either. I don't know. I'm not sure if they're doing it tonight though. They might be doing it tomorrow, but I'll see her. I'll see her soon. Australian weather. It's freezing. Still here. Good morning. Saturday morning church with 411. It was ugly in Atlanta last night. And good morning, Jamie. Anyhow, my super white with blue eyes was smuggled out of Detroit by black friends. I trucked a car, me child, only aunts, TV, riots, phone calls from GMA about my aunt getting out of Detroit safely. The race riots of the 60s rocked the entire world. I went from loving to tears and burning down everything because women and children, black, Mexicans, Chinese, Japanese, everyone was tired of being abused. Now, I have to admit, I don't know a whole heck of a lot about the race riots of the 1960s. I mean, I know that they happened, but not completely caught, up to date on all the events of that though. Deb does readings. Good morning. Oh, I will, Lori. I'll tell her hello from you. Yeah, I don't know. I'll ask her if she's going out riding anytime soon. I'm sure she is. She loves to get out in the outdoors. She's not one that likes to sit at home, but she works in healthcare, so I don't know if she's actually working this weekend or not. Oh, I love game with family and friends. Good morning, Leave It to Bieber. Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Will has a nice baby grand in the background. Yeah, it's just I was playing around with the green screen behind me. Now we're looking at the stars. Good morning, Cece. Oh, Deb, it's just a green screen behind me because I'm still waiting for my buddy to make it back down here so he can finish up the electrical. We had to tear out all the sheetrock and everything behind me. So right now it's just a bunch of green wires. So that's what it looks like. It's just a green screen. But yeah, there are wires hanging down from behind me. And I had to put this green screen up in the meantime. Nobody wants to see a wall that, under construction, sheetrock and holes in it. But my buddy's rewiring the entire garage, studio space. And then eventually I'm gonna take out the two double doors, garage doors. Then I'm gonna put in sliding glass doors. So this it won't be a garage anymore. It will be an actual studio when we're done with it. But he only comes down every once in a while to help me work on the electrical. So it's kind of I'm kind of cramped into this one space over here in the corner right now. Catherine lived in central Michigan. Looking on maps and counting the amount of hours and minutes it would take if the riots got to our small town. Tears everywhere. It was terrifying. I was less than 10 years old. Your room has gone. Yeah, we would have been done with this the wiring and putting the walls back together and everything, but my friend decided that he needed a kind of like a little bit of a break from work and everything, and he went fishing this weekend. So I was like, all right, that's cool. No, I don't have a 17-car garage. Mike, so this is a 2-car garage, and then there's a 2-car garage that's a separate building that's built onto the side of this, and there's like a doorway that goes, I guess it's more like an interior door that goes in between the two, and then there's 2 outbuildings like those big wooden buildings you can buy at like Home Depot. I've got 2 of those on the property, but then we have 2 driveways. The only thing we keep in the one not in this space where I'm in right now, but in the other 2-car garage that's attached to this. The only thing that's in there is my wife's 1965 Volkswagen Bug. You don't need a garage where you live. Karen, no, I have a 2-car garage on top of this. So there's actually 4-car, if you count the total space, it's a 4-car garage, but it's 2 separate buildings. They're attached to each other. And in my driveway, the main driveway for the house, you can put 2 cars side by side, and you can put, I don't know, 10 cars, 8 cars, in the driveway, in that driveway. And then we have another driveway on the other side of the house, and you can put 4 cars in that one. It's just a small driveway. The only thing that's over there is a 2004 Ford Escape. Is it an Escape? Or yeah, it's an Escape. It's not an Explorer. We had an Explorer. We got rid of the Explorer, but I don't know what the hell to do with it. It runs. It's got an engine knock and 2 flat tires now because, well, it's been sitting for probably about 3 years. I'm still here. Good morning, Carolina girl. Wendy, good morning. Queen C, good morning. Hope you are doing well. George. Oh, Mr. Floyd, the guy who was killed. F. Rudder, good morning. There, I'm back. All right, so here, where it's doing that, that's because there's a wrinkle in the fabric where the green screen is, how the light is hitting it. Good morning, Kathy. Security outside the nightclub, and Georgia security inside. Fish on. Yeah, I think he went trout fishing. I'm not entirely sure though. I'm not gonna complain. I mean, he's helping me do all this work for basically free. And I'm paying for all the supplies and for his travel expenses to come here to actually do it. He doesn't have to get a motel when he comes here because I've got plenty of room in my house. Well, thank you, Wendy. I hope you're having a wonderful day as well. Faithful one, good morning. Chili Chrissy one. Hi, Will. How are you today? Love your house. Oh, this is just the green screen. It's just a picture. I was trying to find another picture, but I wasn't able to find it. At least not yet. There we go. How about a basement? All right. With the basement as the background, and let's play a little bit of trivia. All right. Who knows or who remembers David Berkowitz? David Berkowitz is the first one. How did David Berkowitz get the name Son of Sam? Son of Sam. How did David Berkowitz get the name Son of Sam? It's a valid guess, CC. It was his gardener. Leave it to Beaver. She knows this. She's hung over though. Chili Chrissy won and got it. He believed that the devil was speaking to him through his neighbor's dog, and the dog's name was Sam. Oh, Mel, be right back. Grandbaby's awake. Uh-oh. All right, sticking with David Berkowitz. When David Berkowitz was arrested, August 10th, 1977, what was the first thing that David Berkowitz requested from the police department that day before he would sit and talk with them? What did he request? A Big Mac, a beer, cigarette, a chili dog. To see the dog? Coke. There's Zelda. Good morning, Zelda. Oregon just declared a state of emergency. Rioting downtown. Portland ramping up. Quieted down during the night. Glad you're 30 miles away. I'm glad you're 30 miles away too. Oh, Wendy says porn. A burger and a shake. To see his mommy. Now, David, so the answer is David Berkowitz. The first thing he requested on August 10th, 1977, when he was arrested, before he would sit down and talk with the police about the murders or the case, the first thing he requested was a pizza. He wanted a pepperoni pizza. First thing he requested. He said, "I'm hungry and I would like a pepperoni pizza. If you get me a pizza, I'll help you with this case." He said he'd help him with it. He wouldn't say he would confess, but he said he would help. A Bible? He should have. He needed a Bible a whole lot earlier than that. Good morning, Dardine. Hope you are doing well this morning. A pizza. All right. Next one. Juan Corona. Next one is about Juan Corona. He killed 25 people in the Yuba City, California in the 1970s, or early 70s, late 60s. He buried most of his victims in shallow graves around the orchard where he was employed and worked. What was his favorite TV show? He wanted VA benefits. I don't know. Just gotta have this emoji ready. I don't know. Juan Corona. He considered himself a history buff and an avid television watcher. What was his favorite television show? Ooh, the Jeffersons. Good guess, Mike. It is not the Jeffersons, though. But it's a good guess, though. How to Catch a Killer. Mr. Ed. Happy Days. That's a good guess, too. Leave It to Beaver. MASH. I'm speaking of MASH, and that's a good guess, Monica, and good morning. I just watched a documentary about the actor who played Rader O'Reilly. I just watched that and why he walked away from the TV show. Miami Vice, Sanford and Sons, One Day at a Time, Petticoat Junction, Michelle's Close, Chico and the Man, Good Times. Can you repeat the question? Yes, Wendy. Juan Corona. It killed 25 people and buried them in shallow graves in and around the orchard where he was employed. Now, he considered himself an avid history buff, but the question is, what was his favorite television show? Green Acres, Lassie, Three Stooges, news shows. 8 is enough. That girl. That girl. Is that Mary Tyler Moore? And it's not the answer, but I mean, I'm just trying to remember that girl. The Waltons. I loved the Waltons when I was growing up. I don't know about anybody else, but I loved watching that. Bewitched, Little House on the Prairie, The Golden Girls. Good morning, Irish Eyes. Verbal. Bewitched. Yes, that girl was Mary Tyler Moore. Marlo Thomas is that girl. Good morning, K-Love. Love the Waltons. All right, go back to my notes. His favorite television show was Ponderosa. Ponderosa was his favorite television show. Sticking with Juan Corona. So like I said, he had buried 25 bodies in shallow graves in and around the orchards in the Feather River area in California. 4 of his victims were never identified at all because they were most likely illegal immigrants in the United States. He was he died of natural causes in prison on March 4th of last year. All right, Juan Corona. So the next question about Juan Corona is, how many siblings did Juan Corona say he had? How many siblings? You're too young to remember Hoss Cartwright? 8, 13, 10. You graduated in 1978. My generation was the generation of fast food pizza. I gained flashbacks to my family being upset. I was moving to California, 1978. So we have 10, 6, 10, 6, 2 or 3, I think. 2. I dated Danny Blocker for a few months. The name Danny Blocker is not ringing a bell with me, Zelda. Mike Stevens guesses 165. That's a lot. You're guessing here? 12, 9? Was a tuna fisherman. 13. Wendy goes with none. 0. All right. Juan Carlos. Well, and it's not Juan Carlos. Juan Corona. Juan Corona said that he had 12 siblings. You saw 13. Did anybody guess 12? We got 13. Wendy guessed 12. Anybody else guess before that? 12. We got 13 a couple of times. 12. He said he had 12. I don't, if it's true or not, I don't know. But that he was working on his bio in the early part of 2018 and going into 2019, and he died in March 4th of 2019. He died in prison. All right, next one is about Lonnie David Franklin Jr. Ronnie David Franklin Jr. What was Lonnie David Franklin Jr.'s nickname? Well, the name that the media gave him. You know, like we have like the Green River Killer, we have the Night Stalker. What was the name that the media gave to him? Wendy Claire, you're great at Family Feud. Faithful one. And you think you're better at Family Feud as well? Grim Sleeper. Carla got that. Leave It to Beaver got it. The Grim Sleeper. Yep. All right. Sticking with Lonnie David Franklin Jr. So Ronnie David Franklin Jr. targeted prostitutes and female drug addicts. He was married twice. He was a former sanitation worker and garage attendant for parking garage. Sticking with the theme of food from the last one, how did they catch Lonnie David Franklin Jr.? What was the one piece of evidence that they needed and they were able to use to catch him? Hey, Daniel. Good morning. DNA. Wendy, you're ordering pizza? Belt buckle. What was that? pretending to be a waiter at a restaurant. Didn't they use his son's DNA, or am I confused? Um, well, you may be confused a little bit between. So they got his DNA from a slice of pizza. He got an order of a slice of pizza to go. He ate it all except for the crust. And when he threw the crust into the trash, they picked the crust out of the trash can, and they got the actual DNA from that matched the murders that way, because he would not voluntarily give up his DNA. And they I guess they followed him, according to my sheet here, my notes. They followed him for 72 days, waiting to get his actual DNA, a sample of his DNA from a cigarette butt, anything. But he was very careful about not throwing away anything, because once it's discarded, it's in public domain, and you can get DNA from anything. He wouldn't throw anything away. Wouldn't spit gum out and throw it in the trash. Wouldn't do anything. But it was that piece of pizza. He ate the entire thing except for the crust, and then threw that in the trash. That was how they were able to get his DNA, matched up to the murder victims. And by the way, Lonnie David Franklin Jr. died just this past year in prison. Oh yeah, it's helped solve a lot of cold cases too. Carla, Kathy Griffin, me too. I'm bad at bad true crime sub. I don't think you're a bad true crime sub. Yeah, I mean, just think about that. They followed him for 72 days, waiting for him to discard something that would have his DNA on it. And he was very meticulous on not wanting to give up anything at all. And then that one piece of pizza, he threw the crust into the trash can, and that was it. That's all it took. I got lost finding the words I need sometimes. So do I. Daniel's mommy used to say, "Eat your crust." Cece, your dogs love pizza crust. But I actually found a bunch of YouTube channels. It was all about like how to be a penny pincher, and this guy made like 30 different things that you can make with pizza crust, leftover pizza crust the next day. Everything from making croutons out of it to, putting cheese on it and then rebaking it, turning it into slicing up thin and turning it into breadsticks. There's all kinds of different things you can do with the pizza crust. Something that I never would have thought of. From a piece of pizza. Yep. All right, next one. Let's see, which one should we do next? How about Dennis Rader, Mr. BTK? Now we know that Dennis Rader, BTK, bind, torture, kill. He picked his own nickname. He wanted to be known as the BTK killer. All right, but give you a little bit of background on Dennis Rader. He worked on and off for ADT home security systems, and he was able to gain access into the homes of some of his victims because he knew the passcode for the security systems. But who was Dennis Rader's first victim? Where did he, and how did he get a hold of his first victim? Bonus points if you know his first victim's name. But the question is mainly, how did he get a hold of that person? To me, BTK is a 10 on a scale of evil, scary. McDonald's. You're young. You'll be 42 in June. Carpe diem, and welcome to the stream, Carpe diem. Dennis Rader. Active serial killer between the 1970s and 1990. He is currently incarcerated at El Dorado Corrections Facility in Kansas. In front of her house, busted in and killed mom, dad, girl, and another kid. Ontario family. Sorry if I was reading something on a completely another screen here. I'm sorry if I missed anybody. Verbal says Ontario family saw one of the girls and followed, I think. Neighbor lady. Old school detectives, hard work. Yeah, I'm pretty sure his first victim were the family. Dennis Rader. Did anybody want to take a guess at what his his very first victim's name was? Anybody know that one? Tell us I'm dying. Ooh, good guess, Mel. Mel guess Carol. Never paid attention to who the first victim was. Wendy guesses Susan. Chili Chrissy, 1. No, is Cement Shoes in here? I'm sorry if I missed you, bud. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. There you are. Joseph. Excuse me. Cheryl Ann Joseph. Excuse me. Well, Carol Baskin's husband. Barbara Joseph. A lot of guesses for Joseph. All right, so Dennis Rader's very first victim that he killed, his name, it was a man. His name was Dan, just like Daniel himself. No, Dennis killed Dan, was his very first victim. His very first victims were people that he met through work. They were employees of ADT and the home security company that he worked for at that time. Julie, Bridget, Bob. I win. I was the closest. Joseph and Josephine. Yeah, and I noticed a lot when I was going through and I was making the lists of, uh, especially with with Dennis Rader and Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. I mean, how many inconsistencies there were with when people make like lists. They go with a lot of times that the media reported that the person's name was Kathy, who was a victim of Richard Ramirez. Well, he never had an actual victim with the first name of Kathy. It was a nickname for one of his victims. So you have to go back and I had to search through and like, who the hell are they talking about? And then that information then gets regurgitated by somebody else, and then it ends up in a book. Is a victim, victim's name is Kathy. Well, he never had a victim named Kathy. He was gay. Who? Dennis Rader? I don't know if Dennis Rader was. I mean, I know Dennis Rader I think he had 1 or 2 kids. I'm not sure though. Richard Ramirez. Ramirez was a drifter. No, he was not married. I gotta look at my notes for Dennis Rader. See, he also murdered a co-worker's husband and 2 children. He bragged about that. He was pissed. Dennis Rader, he did himself in on that one. He was upset because the media had what was that? What's the best way to put it? They kind of hinted at he was either in jail or he was dead. The BTK killer was either dead or in jail, and that pissed him off. So he volunteered at his church. And he went and made an actual floppy, with a 3 1/4 inch disc, or I don't know if it was that or the floppy, disc itself. But he went and made a disc instead, because of wrong. And he mailed it to the media. I don't know if I'm not sure if he had kids or not. Because it had been more than a decade. Yeah, I in my notes here, he mailed it to a TV station and to 2 different media outlets, newspapers. But they were able to trace the disc back to the church. There's Ridgway. Good old Ridgway, the Green River Killer. I don't know the correct term, but he got turned on by inflicting pain on his victims. Oh yeah. CC. Rader? Dennis Rader? Yeah. Well, he also he kind of wanted to be caught all along. And he may not have, known it, I hope somebody comes and, busts in my door and catches me. But he wanted people to know who he was and what he was doing. And yes, he definitely got a sexual arousal and release from torturing his victims. Ridgway. Gary Leon Ridgway. He actually wrote me back. I have a letter from Ridgway. He's at in Walla Walla State Penitentiary here in Washington State. If you get his prison ID number, anybody can write him. He's pretty prolific about writing back. He won't talk about his actual crimes, but he'll talk about just about anything else. Creepy, weird guy. You should read it to us. There's not a lot in there, CC, that's all of interest. He talks about his in the letter that he wrote back to me. He talked about his life in prison, his day-to-day routine, some of the things that he finds interesting, and he knows that if he has to be where he's at. But he won't. He was very upfront and told me in the letter that he will not write, or correspond back with anybody about the actual crimes that he has been accused of, or his victims, or anything to actually do with the case. But if you want to talk about anything else, he's more than happy to talk about, his theory on other serial killers that are out there. He's a very smart and very intellectual man. He comes across very, in the letter that he wrote back. I mean, Jesus. So like on a piece of notebook paper like this. So you have a space here that you would write a word on. Each and every space on the letter that he wrote me back is two sentences within a space where you'd write one. Morning, Linda. Trying to stay away from the riots and burning and crazy going on here in my city. I'm sorry, Linda. It came up last night on a live stream, and I was talking about the areas that they've rioted and destroyed, downtown Minneapolis, and especially the area on Hennepin Avenue. I have really fond memories of that area of downtown Minneapolis. I mean, Hennepin Avenue is a lot of historical landmarks, and there's also it's like when you think back to your childhood, in your teenage years. I mean, I spent a lot of time in that area. Bundy called him the Riverman. Yeah. I don't know if he did, but I mean, Bundy actually helped the FBI out quite a bit. And Bundy really never thought that they were going to execute him. He really didn't. Even when the last time the police came and talked to Bundy before they executed him, he really thought that the governor was going to not pardon him, but I'm drawing a blank on what the term is. Commute his sentence to life in prison, because he was doing so much for the police department and helping them, and the FBI with learning more about the mind of a serial killer. Because I mean, they want to study you. They want to know what makes you tick, because if they learn about what makes you tick, then they can help stop future attacks, and future murders. It's a war zone. St. Paul is just as bad, and the surrounding suburb war zone. Straight talk. Yeah, I saw that the mayor of St. Paul put a curfew in place last night from 8 p.m. until I think this morning at 6. Lucky for me though, I don't have any family that lives in the Twin Cities area. I got family that live upstate Minnesota. I've got other family and friends who live in some of the surrounding areas of Minneapolis and St. Paul, but nobody who actually lives in the actual cities itself. Bundy was clever. Yeah, I really Pistol Pete. Good morning. Chili Chrissy. I don't think anybody really understands the mind of Bundy. He tried to he came, he made confessions that, he did all these things because he was addicted to pornography, but he basically he lied to that, in that interview so much, and a lot of it, that pastor never released all the footage of Bundy in his interview with him. But Bundy was telling him exactly what he wanted because he was a crusader against pornography. But the youngest, going back in Bundy's history, all the way back to when he was a child, his aunt said that she woke up in bed or something at one time, and Bundy had placed knives all the way around her in her bed, or maybe it was his mom. I mean, but there were things that were going on in Bundy's head, even as a child, that were alarming. Most of the people arrested from Minnesota were not even from Minnesota. Well, yeah, Michelle. So, me and Tim were sitting here last night, and we were watching the news coverage, and I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, about the organization and what they believe in and stuff like that. All right. So they had put out a message, Antifa. I think that I'm pronouncing that correctly, or Antifa. They were trying to get people to show up to protest in downtown Minneapolis. And of course they did. They got their, masked hoodlums, the domestic terrorists, to show up and protest. And if you believe in their cause or whatever their cause might be, great, good for you. But, calling people to show up and riot with you and loot, you're not doing it because of the injustice anymore. You're using it for your own cause. It was his aunt, Mike. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was his aunt that he had placed all the knives around. I haven't seen the Atlanta mayor's speech. I'm gonna have to look that up later. Did you read about the one of our 3 pastors arrested serial rapist? DNA of three women, 18 indicted. It's in Rising. He's from your boring church. Wow. No, I have not read about that, Zelda. I'll write it down though. I mean, as odd as this, as this may sound to a lot of people, I do try to stay away from cases that deal with serial rapists, but it's more of a, I guess. I just don't feel like I have the voice to do it do cases that are like that justice. I'll look into it later on. Thank you for letting me know about that, though. Oh, Colleen Ellis. He was raised to believe his mom was his sister. That's true. Then told the truth. Who knows? If he was told the truth, maybe Bundy would never have killed. I don't know, Colleen. I think that there was something going on in Bundy's, I don't know if it was DNA in his body. I mean, something was obviously wrong with Bundy from a really early age. And I mean, if I woke up in the morning and my son had placed knives all the way around me, I find that a little bit more disturbing than, that prankster. No, I'd freak the hell out, and I'd be like, okay, there's something wrong here. I mean, and he was doing things like that, going back through what the family had said over the years. But in some of the information that's known, and even by Bundy's own account, he had talked about different things that he had, reflecting back on his childhood, trying to make sure I put this correctly. Reflecting back on his childhood, he talked about how he felt towards women in general, his mother, his family, and when you're reflecting back as a child, usually you don't refer to your mother and other people as whores. I mean, that's how he felt about them, in his own words. He really, had disdain for his mother, well, who he thought was his sister or whatever, but I think that there was something definitely going on. I mean, he was definitely a Jekyll and Jekyll. I mean, at 1 minute he's going through law school. He wasn't exactly the best student. He spent a lot of his time, even when he was in law school, trying to think of another way to get a leg up on everybody else. He joined the different political, Republican, parties and committees and stuff like that. When he should have been spending his time studying, he had the ability to do it. He just chose not to, because his mind, or something going on in his mind, even then, before he started killing people. Most serial killers hate women. Well, I don't know of any that love them, CC. I think you kind of have to hate what you're killing. I have read about what they call them, angels of mercy, angels of death. People who they try to kill someone medically, and then revive them, so people will look at them and honor them. I mean, they're serial killers, but Jeffrey Dahmer didn't hate women or men. Dahmer, there's a freak. Elaine Woolrose. Elaine. Do you pronounce it Aline? She was actually a very talented artist. But how many I have her on my list. Where is she at? She killed 6 between 1988 and 1990. She killed 6. Well, she was convicted of killing 6, and 6 confirmed kills in Florida, up and down Interstate 75. She claimed that over the years she had been repeatedly raped by men and who paid for sex. Her first victim, Richard Mallory, was a convicted sex offender. Before her death on October 9th, 2002, she voluntarily ended all her appeals, saying that she would kill again if ever released. Yeah, Wendy's right. And they're still debating. The FBI is still debating. In the behavioral analysis unit with the FBI, they are still not sure to this day how many victims did Jeffrey Dahmer actually have. How many? They don't know. Elaine was a tortured soul. Yeah, but Jeffrey Dahmer, he tried frontal lobotomies on some of his victims before he killed them. He didn't eat all of his victims either. A lot of people are mistaken about that. They believe that he ate a lot of his victims, or he ate all of his victims, or parts of all of his victims. That the eating his victims didn't come in until much, much later. But there's a possibility that he also fed his victims to neighbors. Sadly, the police having murdered in the face of all the citizens are terrified for their loved ones. Now the police have created a situation where the citizens will not need to their death. You believe that Elaine was railroaded? Well, she confessed to some of the murders. I don't know how you can be railroaded if you confess to it before her death. But maybe what she confessed to was that that she had been raped and she killed out of the need to survive. I mean, that's very possible. I mean, I haven't studied a lot about Elaine or Aline. I think you pronounce it Aline. Sorry if I mispronounce it. She murdered people. Yeah. How about the younger gal, Jean? Very low IQ, was executed. She begged for mercy and did not agree. Dissected them. Jeffrey is one. Flower Girl, good morning. Yeah. Jeffrey was a different cop, kind of person. I mean, he when you sit back and you look at serial killers, they fall into three different categories for me. I mean, that's how I categorize it, is in three different categories. Those who, are most likely, mentally insane. They of course, you have to have some kind of mental, issue to want to kill people and do it multiple times. That takes a very smart individual to get away with it for so long. But I put him in three different, different categories. And Jeffrey he doesn't fit into any box, in any category. It's like, if you look at the part of his life, he had everything going for him. Just like Ted Bundy. There was a time in his life when Jeffrey, the world was right there for him. And everything was going good for him. What pushed him over that edge? Don't know. Very interesting to read about. I'll tell you that much. God complex. How's it going? Dogs, Bullock? Bit cooler in the basement. Oh, this is just a green screen. But good morning. I should turn it back to green screen. There. It's just a green screen behind me because the wall behind all this is under construction. I have a buddy he lives on the other side of the state from me, but he's been coming over and helping do the rewiring of this space. So it had sheetrock on the wall. We had to tear all the sheetrock open to and off. So there's parts of it that look like somebody took a hammer to and broke all the sheetrock up. But he's been working on it. He didn't come this weekend to work on it because he went fishing instead. So we'll get it done here soon enough. So, how about the girl that was executed in Texas? She planted an axe into someone's chest. She found God while on death row. she accepted her faith. And a lot of inmates find God in the before they're executed. Yellow Lemons, good afternoon. How about Chris Watts? Chris Watts falls into the sociopath, narcissistic sociopath. Although, as my wife tells me all the time, I can't call him a narcissistic sociopath because Christopher Watts has never been diagnosed with anything. And by labeling him a narcissistic sociopath, I'm doing injustice to him because he may have more than just that. It's not just injustice to Christopher Watts, but to people who actually, most narcissists don't go out and kill people. Most sociopaths don't go out and kill people. They're people who are, some of the most successful business, men and women in this world, and they're sociopaths, but they don't go out and kill people. By labeling and saying that he's a narcissistic sociopath, it makes me feel better because I can actually, label him and put him in a box. But someday he will be in his own box. Good morning, Bluebell. Nope, I'm here. You didn't miss. I went for, so far I've been doing it for an hour, 17 minutes, according to the timer thing in the corner. Probably going to go about another 20, 25, somewhere in there. But you haven't missed it yet. You can watch it and rewind too. It was a guy who was in the military. He knew the family, but was unfamiliar because I never met him until this happened, and only saw him around town once. After this, I was going to wreck his car. For revenge, but you didn't? Well, that's good. Good morning. All right, try to pronounce the name again. Shinog. It's only 9:00 in the morning here. Me and Tim are going at golfing at noon. It is noon where Cece is. I'm well. Thank you. Again, I really do appreciate you, being on the stream last night with me and Tim. Love talking to you. You have a great day today. Daniel, where Daniel is, it's 1717. Good morning, Michelle. Rosa Ingram. Good morning. Scary, I just told my mom what happened literally a week ago. Get it off your chest. Well, I think you should probably talk to somebody else along with it, Wendy. There are people out there, at advocacy groups or people who with experience in counseling. Mike Stevens would have acquitted Eileen. I don't know if I would have. But then again, I'm not judging her. I'm not in that position to know all the facts of the case. Chris wants news, and the case is finally dying down. You'll see Christopher Watts' case rear its ugly head again. See what Cindy's writing a book, so there's going to be a spike in it again. In the case and interest in it again. There'll probably be another, made for TV movie, after Cindy's book comes out or around that time. I'm sure that, there's a couple more authors out there that, that want to write books or have written books. Carpe Diem, Bundy never interested you? I don't think that's odd. She really is? Yeah. Yeah, Cindy is definitely writing a book. I don't have my notebook in front of me here. I picked up a lot of my notes, and I didn't think about it last night, and Tim was in here. I picked up a lot of my notes, and I put them away. Antifa? Is that how you pronounce it? Antifa, right? I wouldn't buy Cindy Watts' book or read it. Pure sewage and lies. Yeah. Well, I don't know what she's going to talk about. I think she's going to more about what he, she wants to give some kind of backstory to him or something. Maybe she thinks that people want to be, read about his life. I don't know why, but people do stupid shit all the time. Yeah, Irish Eyes, Scott Peterson. He's got a lot of people. Scott Peterson's got a lot of people in his corner. Let's just say that. I don't know if he's appealing or not, but they're always, if you're convicted of a crime, if you can get somebody to listen to you long enough. She only wants to hurt Shanann and the Rushek family and make Chris look good. Yeah, that's true. And very true, Wendy. I would have bought a cookbook, but not just her talking about Shanann or Chris. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any desire to read about Chris Watts or the story anymore. Flower Child wouldn't buy the book either. Carmen Durst. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sorry if I'm not. But good morning from Tucson. Yeah. Well, she's going to keep on talking as long as people will give her an opportunity to talk about her son. She hasn't shied away from the media at all. If the media comes knocking on her door and says, we'd like to sit down and talk to you about what happened, she's like, yeah, sure. She don't care. She don't care how much hurt she's caused. She don't care how much her son's caused, and that's the truth. Unfortunately, I Queen C, I'm right there with you, sweetheart. I mean, I don't want to talk about the Christopher Watts case at all. I don't want to talk about him. I am so burnt out over it. But at the same time, though, I mean, I have to say that when I put out the poll for what people wanted me to cover, overwhelmingly between Patreon, Twitter, and here on YouTube, I got more people that wanted me to cover Christopher Watts and his crazy fans than anything at all. Not even close. Lori Vallow came in second, and then the Delphi murders came in third. You follow Frankie Jr.'s channel? That's good. Be very careful of if you see people in the comment section on videos that are claiming to be either Frank or Frankie Jr. There are a lot of fake accounts out there that say that and they are using the same same or close to the same icon picture as their accounts, and these are bogus accounts. People have made up to act like they are them and speaking for them, or that them, and commenting. Because we've traced some of them back to well, one of the Frankie Jr. and one of the Frank Senior the accounts I blocked. And then like a week later, the account name changed to Goldfish something, and then it's changed like multiple times. So people don't realize it's like when you block someone from the comment section, and so they're hidden. I mean, they keep on commenting, but they change their name if they realize that their comments are not getting through. And every time they change it, it blocks it from their ISP account name. It doesn't block the name necessarily. It blocks the actual account. And every time someone changes the name, it changes on my list of blocked accounts. TN Vols gal. Vols. Tennessee Vols. College football. I miss college football. And the bowl games and everything. That sucks about this COVID thing. I think I read in the paper the other day that there are 7 states have been approved to allow sports teams to start practicing and gathering to get ready for preseason. But college sports is I don't know if we're going to have any of that at all this year. Honor the Rooshcheck family. Yeah. Wendy Clary, I will not back down from their evil comments either. That's cool. Well, I hope people would support the Rooshchecks. I mean, they're the family that needs it. I don't know what Chris's dad is doing. Well, I can tell you what the one thing he's doing that is smart is he's staying the hell away from the media and any kind of attention at all. He's obviously got enough brains. Is probably why Chris called him and not mom. You have no problem posting to Frank and Frankie's Jr. That's good. Can't even swim in the lakes here. Nurse Bev. Good morning, by the way, Nurse Bev. These people are evil, mean, and this hate needs to stop towards the Ruchik family. They didn't do anything to deserve this. That is absolutely true. But we know of one group that is obviously going to play it out until the end and then play it out even farther. As long as they are making money off of it all, the hatred and the speculations and lies and rumors, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. But there are enough good people out there as yourself and others who are fighting back against these people. And I support them entirely. Without question. It's all about the money. Yeah, well, evil follows evil. Yeah. Well, that's true. I've seen a lot of it. You know, comments deleted, they're blocked everywhere. In my comment section on the last video I did about Christopher Watts, I had what, half dozen different Christopher Wattses that commented as if it was supposed to be Christopher Watts, responding from prison. People make up these accounts, like we change our socks. They just keep on making more and more accounts, and they don't think that I block them. They make another account. I block them. They make another account. Yeah, he still has photos, but it doesn't. The petition to get the pictures removed from Christopher Watts' cell is going to fail. It's going to fail, and unfortunately, he has the right to have certain personal items. Unfortunately, I know, I get it. It's disgusting that he's able to have a picture of his daughters in his cell, but it's going to fail every time. And even as disgusting as it is, and as wrong as it is, but he's gonna keep on getting and having that right until, and even if we had a petition to have it went through to get the legislators to remove these personal items from him, so he's not continually victimizing them, even in the after all this. You'd have to get I believe the Supreme Court would have to get involved to remove some personal items like that, or they could send him to another prison where he is not allowed to have personal items, like Pelican Bay in California. If he's sent to Pelican Bay, the only thing he's allowed to have in his cell is just legal papers. No books, no photos, no drawings, nothing. Just legal papers. But, as long as he's at Dodge Correction Center, he's going to have the right to have certain personal belongings with him. Yeah, that could be cement shoes. You'd be surprised how many crazy fans he's got out there who are in contact with him. There are a lot of them out there. Yes, yes, and no. So, I mean, if we can't take the pictures away, of his family from him, because if the law would have to actually be changed to each and every inmate who is allowed to have photos of their family while they're incarcerated. Now, even if they are victims, they're his family first, is the way the law looks at it. So we can't just take the photos from Christopher Watts. We'd have to take the photos from every inmate, and you'd have to play, it'd have to be for everybody. So you can't just make a law say, okay, or change it and take something away from Christopher Watts. There is a big giant moth in here, but you have to make it so it's a not retroactive, but it's enforced across the board on every inmate. If somebody's in jail, are they allowed to have photos of their family, even if their family is the victim? And where do you draw a line on what is a victim and what's not a victim? There's a lot more to it than just saying, okay, look, you killed your family, you're not allowed to have photos of them. We understand what Christopher Watts did in his his case, but Bobby, who's on his 13th DUI, and is looking at probably doing 8 years in the penitentiary for his 13th DUI. His children, his wife, they're victims of his, driving under the influence and having to go, and do, serious prison time for all his DUIs. Do we take the photos from Bobby? Or how about, involuntary manslaughter? But maybe Bobby was in a car crash on his 13th DUI, and the passenger, his friend Steve, was in the passenger seat and died. Is he not allowed to have a picture of Steve? Maybe Steve's his brother. It's a lot more complicated than just removing the photos from one killer. You can't say, okay, we changed the law. If you killed somebody, you can't have photos. Well, why are we saying just people who killed someone can't have them? It's very complicated, is basically what I'm saying. Faithful one, are you the one that wanted it? You're the one that wanted it in black, right? Or white? I just got notification of the other day that one of the shirts shipped out. So a lot of it is being delayed because of the COVID. So it's on its way. I don't know if yours is the one that shipped out or not. I'm trying to pull up my email. Okay. So it's the Liberty and Justice, or did you want the one that was in white? All right. So this one is see on the thing here on my app. It only shows it was a Liberty and Justice shirt. Expected delivery date is June 8th for this one. wonder if I click on tracking, if it's going to tell me any more information. We can narrow it down a little bit, Faithful One. Is yours a large or was it an extra large? Okay, so both of these orders have shipped. They have different expected delivery dates. No, because of the COVID thing. So what this is how it worked is, I'm giving away the shirts for free, and I ask for your shipping information and the other people who got the free shirts. I put the order in, and then Teespring is actually they're a t-shirt company. They print t-shirts on demand. So I have the design on the website. Somebody orders it, they print the shirt, and then they ship the shirt out to that actual person. But they're on their way. One has the delivery date that expected the delivery date of June 8th, and the other one, screen timed out on me, is got expected delivery date of the 11th. And at the top of the order, it says some orders are experiencing slight delays due to COVID-19. Standard shipping timelines may not apply. What I can't, right there in the gray, and it timed out again. Yeah, that ain't gonna do any good. It's on its way, sweetheart. I can't make them ship them any faster. Well, I guess I could have paid for expedited shipping, which only would have sped everything up by I think a week. But then the United States Post Office, or whoever, I think that the United States Post Office is the one that's shipping them all. COVID is backing everything. I just ordered my birthday present coming up. Well, happy birthday to you, Wendy. Crazy chicks want to murder. Extremely low self-esteem. I got a merchandise on Teespring. That's cool. Do you have anything with the rooster on it, CC? Backing everything up. It is. I mean, I ordered a new camera, and it was supposed to be here last Monday. And this morning, I got a notification from Amazon that they're going to refund me my money, because it's going to take 2 to 4 days to refund me my money. That order was canceled by the supplier. I'm like, great. Right now, Wendy, it's basically just t-shirts, a couple of hoodies, and tote bags. New Jersey is going to open up in 2098. It isn't looking good, Zelda. It isn't looking good at all for JJ and Tylee. Especially if she really has firsthand knowledge, and everything that she's saying is she's trying to be as factual as she can, it doesn't look good at all. I'll just say that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have to get going. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on the stream today. Sorry I kind of rambled on for quite a while here and got really off the subject. If we had a subject, I guess. But I don't know if me and Tim will do a live stream tonight or not. It all depends on what time we get back and what's going on. I don't know if everybody's coming over for dinner tonight, and we're going to be busy with that or what. But we'll see. If I do, and we are able to do a live stream, I will post something in the community tab in case you want to watch it tonight. But everyone, stay safe out there. And I hope you have a wonderful day today. And thank you again for joining me today.